Okay. Now, it is time to do 1 hour left. Before stuff. Before more stuff. Before other stuff. Poetry. Okay. Usually you get an hour today. Today was a little bit hard. I did a live stream. I paid a ton of bills off. I have 1 more month to pay off the MasterCard. And then I can start paying off tuition so I can prepare for the fall next year. I already got... let's see, let me just pull up the syllabus for both. There's something I can do for Lucretia, because I'm going to have to do that on Wednesday, so I have to read up the syllabus for 349. Where's 349? There it is. Yes. No. Let me just say yes or no. Live stream. Ugh. Crap, I'm out of water again! Why am I out of water again? Okay. What am I gonna do tonight before I have to go to bed? Poetry. It's the only thing I can do, read it the longest while. Whatever is... Why? Oh, yeah. These are the 2 courses. There used to be calculus up here for the summer, but now it's just the 2 winter courses right here. And, yeah. Contemporary poetry. Because next week, I'm gonna get the prompts. I'm gonna get the prompt for the poetry course. But in a couple of weeks from now, I'm gonna get the prompt for the Shakespeare course. For the essay in each of my class. So, course materials. The text. Larkin. Now it's time to read more text. More poetry. But before I do that, I need to get water. And washroom. Be right back. There we go. One last live stream before I go to bed. Gotta be in bed by midnight. Gotta be in bed. Wait, who said that? So, boy. Boy! Alright, alright. I need to look for next week's poems. I already got this week for January the 10th. Now, all I have to do is just read these poems right here. That's all I have to read. Oh, wait, did I actually read those? Yeah, I did. No, wait, I didn't. Days, whatever Roman numeral this is, talking bed, large school store, study of reading habits, as bad as a mile, and ambulances. Those are the only poems I have to read. So this is not a game stream. This is a school stream. Because I'm trying to at least get one small thing in every other day. You know what they have to say? Eh? Alright, never mind. Oh yeah. In bed. Pretty bad. Light. Talking in bed. Talking in bed. There we go. Okay, that's the poem I'm looking for. Let me just double check and see if, yeah, days. Take one home for the kitties. I don't think I did take one home for the kitties. But I don't think I have to anymore. So I'll skip that. Days! What are days for? Days are where we live. They come, they wake us. Time and time over. They are to be happy in. Where can we live but days? Ah, solving that question brings the priest and the doctor in their long coats running over the fields. What? What the hell? Usually the shortest ones are the most dense ones. So, the speaker just answered his own question and then realized he answered his own question. And it's like days are like what brings the priest and the doctor in their long coats running over the fields. I don't know if there's some sort of symbolic representation between a priest and a doctor, as if the priest is a representation of spirituality, whereas the doctor is a representation of science, and suggesting that these two representations in their own dichotomy would run across the field with each other. I think that's what it is. Something about the days makes the world go round. What are days for? They come, they wake us. Days? Who's they? Time and time over. They are happy. They are to... What? They are to be happy in. Where can we live but days? Why not nights? Where can we live but nights? I don't know. What is it with days in this poem? What do you think? Sorry for not coming to your streams. I've been busy. That's okay. You don't need to apologize to me. You're not the only one. Hurricane even wants to get in here. I don't know why. Everything about my stream is boring as shit. But for some odd reason, you guys come in here and watch me read poems. Oh well. I don't know what Roman numeral this is. MCMXIV. It's a medium one. 32 lines. 8 lines each. Yeah, it is 8 lines each. Those long uneven lines, standing as patiently as if they were stretched outside. The overall Villa Park. The crowns of hats. The suns. Wait, what? The crowns of hats. What is the crown of hats? I don't know. When I read these poems, I really get a sense, what is this? What is the crown of hat? I don't know. The sun on mustached archaic faces, grinning as if it were all an August bank holiday lark. And the shut shops, the bleached, establishing names on the sunblinds, the farthings and sovereigns, and dark-blotted children at play, called after kings and queens, the tin advertisements for cocoa and twist, and the pubs, wide open all day, and the countryside not caring. The place names all hazard over, with flowering grasses and fields, shadowing doomsday lines under wheat's restless silence. What? Restless silence? The differently dressed servants. Differently dressed servants. With tiny rooms in huge houses. The dust behind limousines. Never such innocence! Never before or since has changed itself to pass without a word. The man leaving the garden site. The thousands of marriages lasting a little while longer. Never such innocence again. Okay, I gotta say something about this. Because it's an English course, we're looking at a lot of grammatical features and even syntax. This whole poem is one big sentence. Because if there's anything I know, a sentence doesn't end unless it has a period. But there are a lot of commas in between. A lot of breaks. There's no full stop. There's a lot of enjambments. The poem continues all the way up until the last line, so it's just one huge thing. With the other poems, there were several breaks and end stops, which left, which gave the feeling a sense of inadequacy, like there was something lacking. But in this poem, it's all one huge sentence, as if to say that there is nothing lacking. But the idea of not lacking in whatever the author is saying, never such innocence. So the idea of wait, what's the word I'm looking for? Lacking and innocence seems to connect the. I don't know. It seems to really bring an idea of spirituality here. And yes, I'm gonna be doing that with a lot of poems. Never such innocence again. And then he ended the period, and then all of a sudden we have to get another thing which adds more things. I don't know, it's just, it's very different from the other poems I've read, because of the period. It's one fell swoop from top to bottom without stopping. I don't know what to make of this, grammatical use of words. Well, it's long, uneven lines. I think, this is the very first line, the subject of the poem is a synectic argument. And, for those of you who don't know what synecdoche means in poems, synecdoche, a figure of speech in which a part is made to represent the whole or vice versa. As in, Cleveland won by 6 runs, meaning Cleveland's baseball team. So what I mean the synecdoche in this poem is that the first line is the synectic representation of the entire poem. Those long, uneven lines. This long, uneven poem with several noun clauses in between. Cocoa and Twist in the pubs. Wide open all day in the countryside, not caring. Place names. It's like a category, and then we have several subcategories, and then for every subcategory, there's a subcategory. And I don't know what to make of it. Literally. I'm just looking for it, like, for its structure, but that's about it. Talking in Bed. Is that the poem we have to read? Yes, it is. Ugh. Ugh. Alright. Wait. These are all tercets. If you don't know what a tercet is, it's 3-line stanzas. Tercet definition. A set of group of 3 lines of verse rhyming together or connected by a rhyme with adjacent tercet. Earnest, so far, honest, silent, unrest, sky. So these are all tercets. And, I'm not sure, the only other poem that I know that uses tercets is, the Divine Comedy. If you ever looked at, Dante's Divine Comedy. Dante's Inferno. Can I read the first one? PDF. Now PS4. Inferno! Can I watch, or look at, like a, I'll show you what I mean when it's from the Divine Comedy. Alright, here we go. So this is what it is. It's written in tercets. I know it's not looking like a tercet, but the indent of the word shows where the 3 lines are. It's like the first line, indent, the 4th line, indent, yeah, it's written in tercet. So going back to the poems we have right here, Talking in Bed. Why is it written in tercet? What is the whole purpose of it? So, maybe I'll read it first and then I'll discuss the structure of the poem and what it has to do. Talking in bed ought to be the easiest. Lying together, there goes back so far, an emblem of two people being honest. End stop, period. Yet more time passes silently. Period. Outside, the wind's in complete unrest builds and disperses clouds about the sky. And the dark town heaps up on the horizon. Period. None of this cares for us. Period. Nothing shows us why at this unique distance from isolation, it all becomes more difficult to find words at once true and kind, or not untrue and not unkind. What? Not untrue and not? Why? They were once true, and then they were not untrue. Is that... What the hell? I don't know, I'm having a moment. Why is there a double negative at the last line? Words that are, or they are, not. I just don't understand the double negative of this. I just have a hard time. Purpose of using a tercet. Tercet in poetry. The Sicilian tercet has ABA rhythm, but fancier tercet has added challenge. This means that each of the 3 lines must be 10 syllables along with an accented or emphasized syllable. Shakespeare was a master when it came to using iambic pentameter. So what's the whole purpose of using a tercet? 3-lined stanzas. Example, English language haiku is an example of an unrhymed tercet. Forms of villanelle, I already talked about that. There's one thing I have to say. The poem that I talked about before was not an actual villanelle. It didn't have the refrains. So, water was not a villanelle. Tercet may be the form of separating halves of an ending in a sestet, where the rhyming scheme is a long fill across snow. What is the whole purpose? Possible sources. Characterized linked, enclosed, disciplined, vehemently, yet calm. Wilbur observes the tercets and terse rima. These interlocking rhymes tend to pull the listener's attention towards a continuous flow. Given this natural tendency to glide forward, tercet rima is especially well suited to narration and description. Narration and description. So that's one of the uses. So, is this poem a narration? Well, what is narration? Narration definition, the action or process of narrating a story. So we're talking about stories. The story of what? Talking in bed? What do stories involve again? The account or imaginary of real people and events told for entertainment. And yes, I'm really looking at the definition of words here to really dig into every single association. That's how you get into poetry. So he's doing this as a form of entertainment. It ought to be easy. Line together there goes back so far. An emblem of two people and being honest. He's not being serious. And based on the several periods and the end stops in between, you're really... Yet more and more time passes silently. Outside, winds in complete unrest, builds and disperses clouds about the sky. He's telling us to look at the clouds in the sky, which is just a ironic expression of the purpose of the tercet. Like a huge distraction. Let's not even look at each other in the bed. Let's just look at the sky. And then the clouds passing by. What do you think? Oh. let's move on from that. The large, cool store. I assume we're talking about temperature and not cool. Usage of the word cool. Where did the slangs cool come from? African American usage. Two general slangs of cool, meaning great, meaning acceptable, okay, the following. Great, fine, excellent, cool, characterized by great facility, socially adept, not cool to derive it apart too early, acceptance, satisfactory, okay. If you want to stay, that's cool. Slang used for fashionable is 1933. Originally Black English, use had been popularized in jazz circles by tenor saxophonist Lester Young. I know that most of Larkin's poetry arose out of like the 50s. And this is like a post-World War II poem. That's why in another poem he describes the congeries of a random household product. All this excess or theme of excess. But in any case, let's read the poem. The large, cool store, selling cheap clothes, set out in simple sizes plainly. Knitwear, summer casuals, hose in brown and gray maroon navy. Conjures the weekday world of those. I think that line 5 is another synecdoche argument for the entire weekday, the entire poem itself, but I'll get to that in a sec.